Hello there.
Well, hello there, troopers, and welcome back to General Kenobi's Bunker. Thank you so much for joining me here on this fine Thursday night. We got done, finally, right? We'll talk about it. So, thank you so much again for joining me. It is good to be back, guys. It has been a long few weeks, but it's awesome to be here, to be live, to be just hanging out with everybody because I missed you guys and. Full disclosure, I was almost falling asleep, in my couch. I was like, you know what? What am I doing? What am I doing? Let's go ahead. Let's go live. Let's chat. Let's talk about the Acolyte, of course. But yeah, I hope that your week has been going great. I hope that you're ready for the weekend, which is tomorrow, which is awesome. It's just about that time. So sit back, relax. Um, no more acolytes, so you don't have to, worry about that anymore. We're just gonna talk about it today. We'll be done. It's gonna be good, and then we'll move on to the next thing, right? Which is what is our next thing actually? Now that I think about it, hmm, what is next? Is Skeleton Crew next? Is that the next big thing that we got going on for Star Wars? Probably, right? I don't know that anything else is close to being done. It's like that. I know Andor season 2 is also sort of wrapped up, right? But we haven't really seen much. And I think that's still slated for next year, which kind of sucks because it's one of those things that, hey, if it's done, maybe we get it going, right? Maybe just let us enjoy it. But I get it. They gotta milk it for as many subscriptions as they can. Um, it's all about the money at the end of the day, which is fine. But yeah, guys. So I hope again that your week is going great. I hope that you have gotten some rest. I hope that work hasn't been too crazy. I hope that you've been getting plenty of water. It's hot out there, guys, in the summer, especially out here in Texas. And I hope that you're having to spend some time with the family. It's summer vacation for most of the students. So I hope that you guys are getting some quality time. And if not, then I hope that your kids are staying entertained somehow because it's kind of rough, right? To have them home for 3 months, full 3 months. So I'm just kidding. It's awesome. No, it's not. But yeah. So again, I hope everybody's doing fine. I hope that your weekend is awesome. It's going to come up here very, very soon. Also, I wanted to see what you guys think, but did uh did anybody do any shopping um during Prime days? Uh it used to be Prime Day, remember? Just one day out of the year. Now they got like four. Anyway, technically I think it was two. I'd say like two plus, to be honest, because um it just kind of kept going and going. I think even this morning there was still some stuff going on. But yeah, what did you guys buy for Prime Day? Let me know. I didn't really see much when it comes to Star Wars. I was tempted, of course, like every year, about a couple of things, and I did okay for the most part. I behaved. And didn't really buy much. I did get myself a new monitor actually, because I don't know if you guys remember, but one of my monitors was attacked by one of my DTOF doors a few months back, and that scratched up my monitor. And I was not a happy camper, with that. So I got myself a new one. You know, I figured it is something that I used heavily and pretty much every day. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna I'm just gonna go for it. So I ordered that. Hopefully it comes in this weekend because it would be perfect so that I can set it up and rearrange the desk if I have to. Hopefully not. I'm hoping that it is the same footprint. I think it is. I thought based on the description, it is. I just hope that it is more of a just sort of like a drop-in replacement, really. Nothing wrong with my monitor, like it still works, right? But just looking at that big old scratch like every day, it my OCD just just cannot handle it, to be honest. So yeah, but let me know, what did you buy for Prime? Like I said, when it comes to Star Wars, I didn't really see too much. I think it was better in previous years. I saw a couple of helmets, I think, that were on sale, not super discounted, but still, it's always good if you're gonna buy one, to get it, even if it's just a little bit discounted. Um, in terms of like the actual action figures, I didn't see that much this year either. So yeah, I'm not sure. What did you guys end up getting? Let me know. Um, sabers, lightsabers. Did anybody see any good lightsaber sales? During Prime days. I think I saw, what was that? Was it the Darth Vader one from Black Series? It might have been that one. I think that's just about the only one that I saw go on sale. Um, so yeah, let me know what you guys end up buying. Like I said, I think I did mostly okay. This year didn't go too crazy, especially because I've already been spending a lot of money on conventions, on autographs, and things like that, and on plane tickets. I still gotta buy the ones to go to Chicago next month, and they're not that cheap as I thought they were gonna be, to be honest. But also, we got ICCC Con coming up in October. I need flight for that. Um, yeah, we still got quite a bit of events actually for the rest of the year. So yeah, stay tuned. Let me know if you guys are going to any convention. Maybe we can meet up. It'll be cool to hang out live, right, in person. Man, I'm just noticing my beard is definitely not ready for the camera, but I'm gonna try to hide it behind the microphone. All right, so nobody say anything. I'm very self conscious. Okay, hey, what's going on? Oh, we picking up Relix joining the stream. Appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. Hello there, everyone. What's up, man? Says Yoda wasn't sold to Yoda. You're right. I did see that one. I did see the Yoda one, and it was a pretty good discount actually. Now that I remember, but it's it's an okay lightsaber. I was never too crazy about the design. Um, I think there are cooler looking ones out there. It is Yoda's. Don't get me wrong. That is important, but um, yeah, I wasn't too interested on that one, to be honest. Did you pick up anything? Hello there, says Juan. What's going on, brother? Thank you so much for coming in. We got Flex in the house saying, General, what's going on, Elijah? Hope you're doing fine, man. Sup, OBP, says Flex. OBP says, picked up another Rebel Commando for 16 bucks. Yeah, I think that was just about the best one, the best sale that I saw. So this was the Return of the Jedi um, Black Series Rebel Commando, right? And it's the one on the card. And I was very tempted because I love those cards. But I, the problem is the shipping, to be honest. I've been having really bad experiences with Amazon shipping lately, with those figures on cart. So I kind of passed on it. It is a cool figure, don't get me wrong. Yeah, I think it was probably the most worthy one out of the sales, but not a whole lot. Not a whole lot going on for Prime Day. Like I said, Star Wars wise, I didn't really buy anything. Um, as I mentioned, I bought myself a new monitor, so I'm excited about that. To replace my scratched up one that I'm looking at right now. It bothers me so much, but that's about it. So I did okay this year, for the most part. Hey, Captain Flex says OBP. Juan is saying I'm on Facebook because he doesn't consume my plan. Smart man, very very smart man. Hello there, says Chris. What's going on? Thank you so much for joining. Appreciate you. How you been? How you doing? So yeah. OEP says, I thought that commander would definitely sell out long before this. Mine came today and he's fine. Card's good. Oh, good. I'm glad to read that because yeah, like I said, usually I didn't really have a problem with Amazon shipping, but like the past maybe like 3 carded figures that I've ordered, they all arrive with some sort of damage, some sort of warping. One of them was shipped in a box that was too tight, so even if the box wasn't like damaged or crushed, You could tell they just like jammed it in there. So not cool. So yeah, carded figures. I'm trying to buy in person most of them. All good. Wishing always best, of course. Proud of you. Hey, thank you, Chris. Appreciate that. So yeah, guys, we had a season finale for the Acolyte, and yeah, what are we gonna be complaining about next? I'm just kidding. We do complain a lot though. Um, Episode 8 of the Acolyte aired, a couple days ago, um, marking the season finale of this show. And right now, we don't know if we're gonna get a season 2. And I know there's been a lot of talk and a lot of debate on whether that should happen, not, and of course what should be in that season. And I don't know. I think overall there probably will be a second season at least. I think there's gonna be at least one more season. There's a lot going on that I think um, is still worthy to be told. And again, just that period of time is so largely like unexplored in live action that I think there's still a lot of room to grow, right? Will it continue to be the same way as it has been now, with with the same showrunner and sort of like the same storyline and stuff like that? That I don't know. We might have a change of direction, right? Direction both in the story and like actual directors, right, or showrunner. I don't know. That is remain to be seen. Like I said, there's officially not a second season greenlit yet. I think there will be. I think it definitely generated some buzz. So um, I haven't seen the numbers in terms of viewership now that the season is done. So I don't know how successful this show was for Disney Plus, right? I don't know if it got a lot of views, right, or a lot of subscriptions out of the show. So that's gonna be interesting. We'll probably know by next week, when I think most people have already seen. Most people that were going to see the show had already seen it by that point. Um, so it's definitely going to be interesting to get those numbers, right? Because again, this is a numbers game, right? This is about the money. So I'm wondering how successful financially this show was for Disney, because ultimately I think that's going to play a really big part in it getting renewed or not. So yeah, we're gonna talk about the episode. Just fair warning, if you haven't seen it, I think it's already been spoiled by now for everybody that hasn't seen it, to be honest with you. It's been 2 days. So every major, reveal or cameo, I think everybody has seen it by now. But just in case, just keep that in mind. We will be talking about spoilers, right? We're going to go through the episode very quickly, and then we'll talk about it at the end. Delicious. Um, so let me catch up here with the chat before we do that. Juan saying 9 out of 10 final episode. Can't wait to see what future brings in the series. Yeah. Well, again, we'll see if we get more of the show, right? OBP says overall I thought 8 was okay, but I have several issues. Yep. Same here. Marta, what's going on? Thank you for joining the stream. OBP says agree. Probably one more season. Looks promising with our Plagueis. Exactly. Hi, Marta says OBP. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's go ahead and get just right into it. But before that, let me put here um, a little warning. All right, that we are talking the Acolyte with spoilers. All right, so show that's right there. So again, if you haven't seen the episode and somehow you've managed to stay away from the spoilers for 2 days, my hat is off to you, because I I didn't get to watch it as it premiered. I watched it maybe like 2 hours later, And man, it was tough. It was very tough to stay off social media so nothing would be spoiled. I'm glad I did though. I'm really, really glad I did. I'm proud of myself for doing it because, yeah, some of the reveals, or I wouldn't call them reveals, some of the cameos in this episode were definitely, definitely worth it. All right, so let's jump into it. You have been warned. We will be talking about spoilers. We're going to be showing spoilers. Okay, so if you don't want to, go through it with me, you can go ahead, pause the stream, come back later on, and check out what we're talking about. Okay, everybody ready? All right, let's do it. So, you know what? Let's do this. All right. So, episode 8, The Acolyte. That's the episode name, by the way. So, we start off basically where we left off the previous episode, and Osha is wearing Kamir's helmet, and she's having like a little bit of a forced seizure. Kamir tries to take it off, and he's getting sort of like dark side possessed. um I thought this was more like the technique that Mother Anastasia was using on Torben, right? And we do get a little bit of that like shadow realm, but he manages to remove the helmet, all right? And kind of telling us that Osha, has like a pretty good, connection with the dark side, right? Spoilers. So
Where is she?
Kamir's like, all right, what did you see? Osha says, I saw May and she was hurting Soul, and I know where they are. Kamir's like, all right, well, where is she? And she's like, yeah, I'm not gonna tell you, right? He's like, all right, well, I'm not gonna let you use my ship, so we're gonna have to go together. So off to a very good start, and basically planning out that they're taking a little road trip together. But let me catch.
Go together and see
So
who gets to her first.
we'll see who gets to May first. Back in the ship,
I will
May
contact.
and Soul. Soul is saying that they just arrived at the at Brendok again. Where everything went down, 16 years prior, and he's saying we're gonna call the Jedi. When this way I can prove that there's a divergence here in the Force because now you're here, and so I kind of have the evidence, which I thought was a little bit weird. Like, why are you still so fixated on trying to prove that there is an actual vergence in the Force, right? Like that's gonna make it better what you did. I don't know. I thought that's still kind of weird. I wish they would have gone deeper into that. In the meantime, May uses Pip, reprogram Pip. Remember factory reset Pip to start, messing with the locks on her wrist. So um, Soul kind of starts telling um, May that her and Osha are not twins, but that's when she manages to escape and she runs to the ship, right? And he escapes in a little. It's not even like a pod; it's kind of like a separate ship again. So this Jedi ships have a lot of like built-in ships too. So they call it an escape shuttle. Which is not to be confused with the actual shuttle that breaks off from the main body as well. So she escapes and Soul starts pursuing. They go into this rings, like if they were in Saturn, let's say, and it's a nice scene. Visually it's really nice. Soul is trying to, I guess, shoot her with the tractor beam, and then yeah, then we get our little sniffer buddy here, who apparently has now um start to like May, even though she, he bit her in like the previous episode. Um and yeah, so he starts messing with it, kind of sabotages Soul, and Soul sort of crashes, into the asteroids, and so does May, and which basically prompts them to fall onto um onto Brandok, right? To the surprise of nobody, I guess. They were gonna go down there anyway. Then we get this. I thought that this was actually a cool interaction between Senator Raincourt and Master Vernestra,
Master Benestra.
and
Senator.
our beautiful, beautiful boy Mog is here to give her the good news, right? Hey, you got a visitor, and she's like, and you let him in into the control room, and Mog is like, oh, uh, please don't fire me, type of thing. So I love you, Mog. You are the absolute best part of this show. And so, yeah, so they get, a little bit of a back and forth here going on. And there's a couple of good lines actually that I like here. He's basically asking her, he's like, hey, how come you didn't tell us you had a murder investigation going on? And she's like, oh, because it's a independent Jedi matter. And he's like, yeah, I don't think so. The Senate should have been told, all of that. There's going to be an audit and all that, about independent audit. But he does have a pretty good line in here, because Vernestra basically calls him out. I was like, you know what? I know that you don't like the Jedi. It's like, just be honest. And he's like, yep, I don't. He's like, because you pose as a religion, and you tell everybody that you are controlling the uncontrollable. And she's like, we don't control the Force. And he's like, I'm not talking about the Force, I'm talking about your feelings, right? Which I thought of, like, oh, that's actually a pretty good point. um and so, he says it's only a matter of time before one of you snaps and all things, go bad. So Vernestra, of course, is like, well, not everybody thinks like you do in the Senate. And he's like, well, when somebody, is when somebody does go bad, who's gonna stop him? Like, who's gonna be strong enough? Anyway, so he's like, by the way, we are gonna do an independent review of the order, and I hope that by then you have your suspect in custody, right? Like, get your house in order. All right, back on the planet, Kamir and Osha are packing, are done packing snacks and, road trip movies for their little trip. Um, they're very I don't know, they're almost friendly at this point. I guess, that was quick. But anyway, so they're gonna be sharing the ship, and off they go. And this is probably the absolute best part of the episode. Let's watch it right here. Ooh, looky. Who is that beautiful creep right there? Who do we think it is? All right, I'm gonna give you the answer. So we pretty much everybody thinks that is Darth Plagueis the Wise. Yes, that is what we know to be Palpatine's Sith master. He looks very much like he did in the book. We only get this shot, of course. We don't get him named. Um, we do get the yellow eyes, which is good. Very Sith-like. Which, by the way, we never got with Kamir. Just FYI. But here he is. Creeping like a creep he is. And we'll talk about more on what the fans have been saying for this one. So anyway, back on Brandok, we got Soul, who actually manages to land his ship, not just crash it. And Vernestra is like, hey, we gotta go. We found. Oh, so Mog comes in saying, hey, Soul turned on his Find My Phone thing again. We know who he is. We should go. Vernestra's like, yeah, we're going again. Gather as many knights as you can without, like, raising alarm. And let's just go. Osha and Kamir on the road trip, they arrive. Of course, Soul sees them because the planet is like deserted, so you're gonna notice the ship. We're back at the ruins where the witch coven was held at. He's trying to find May. May's nowhere to be found. Kamir and Osha are like, at the gate. Kamir pulls a disappearing act, and Soul is wondering and reminiscing about how he couldn't save both of the girls. And then May appears out of, like, underground. She starts going around, also reminiscing. Osha trying to slice the door, and then we get Kamir, and hilarity ensues. this was probably the best part of the episode, to be honest. Just the fight between Soul and the Stranger is very, very fun. Um, say what you will, but the choreography is pretty fun on this one. Look at that. Come on, that's pretty cool. So yeah, they fight, they pull this crouching tiger hidden dragon move here. Which honestly I'm surprised they don't do more often. Okay. There's definitely a lot of influence in the old kung fu movies, for the show. So again, I'm surprised we don't see this happen more often than not. And then, of course, pulls off his second blade. Again, some very, very cool moves in this fight. Let me show you. Oh, this one. I think this was probably my favorite. So he... Boom. There you go. But then he does this. He throws both lightsabers and he redirects like boomerang style back to Soul. But then Soul is like, nope, rejected. That was a cool move. All right, that was a good look on Soul. Just getting, like, nope, you get back. Kamino once again puts his lightsaber together and they keep fighting. So Osha finally reunites with May. May's like, hey, they Soul lied to you. They blame me, but it wasn't me. It was him. And she's like, no, I don't believe you. She kept, poking at her, and Osha's finally like, you know why I failed being a Jedi is because I couldn't control my emotions. They start fighting, because reasons. They're sisters, kinda, and so yeah. I could have, I would have thought that May being trained by a Sith, quote unquote Sith, should be better at fighting hand to hand combat with a mechanic, right? That hasn't been in the order for the past like 6 years. But they're pretty evenly matched, I guess. So again, but Kimir detects that the Jedi are coming, right? Master Vernestra among them. So Soul starts feeling pretty good. It's like, all right, I'm gonna have backup pretty soon here. The fighting continues. So like I said, some cool moves definitely in this battle. This is one move that was kind of weird. It's like he's purposely like throwing little sparks at him, which I don't know. I don't know what that's about. Anyway, let me get here to the good part. They have this like samurai. They have this like samurai showdown here. So check this out. Boom. See, I liked that you can actually see the crystal right there, the Kyber crystal. So that was a pretty cool move. I liked it. And like I said, some of the choreography on this show is pretty good. But then May shows up. She takes off Soul's lightsaber. He's like, just, you know what? Just confess, to what you did. And the Stranger tells May, it's like, hey, you can still kind of, you can kind of come back, right? If you just complete your task of defeating a Jedi, then your journey is going to be complete. And she's like, nah, it's all right. I'm good. Which again, I don't fully understand. But she's like, I'm not gonna like off him because I want him to pay. I want, his crimes to come to light and all that. And so it's like, oh, really? Like, you don't even know the truth. Like, you're not twins. You're the same person. I don't know how your mom did it, but she basically used the Force on you, and manipulated life out of you, and you're basically the same person, just split into two. So like, you're two halves. May keeps pushing for Soul to admit it. He finally cracks and says, yes, I killed your mother. And lo and behold, Osha's right there to listen to the truth. And they go back and forth. Why didn't you tell me? He's like, well, they would have taken you away. And then, to the surprise of nobody, Osha kind of goes bad, right? She starts force choking Soul, and then we get this. So she picks up Soul's broken lightsaber, who has the kyber crystal sticking out, and then this happens right here. So she very fast, very untrained like, um starts bleeding the kyber right there and then. Visually cool. Nah, I don't know about the timing, but so it's like, it's all right, you can off me. And so she seemingly does, and everybody's like, oh wow, that happened. Kamira's like, all right, good job, and she's like, back off. Then check this out. So we see the lightsaber sort of get corrupted, and he's like, ooh, that's kind of cool. I've never seen that before. So again, visually it's cool, but I don't know. We'll talk about it right now. So Vernestra arrives like she does every time, late with a bunch of Jedi to do nothing. The sisters are like, all right, we gotta go. All the Jedi come in, and they're like, ooh, there was something happened here 16 years ago. Start looking for everybody. The twins are trying to escape. Kamir pulls a fast one, and he just like disappears. Vernestra directs the Jedi to set up a perimeter, all that stuff. The stranger is actually creeping, looking at Master Vernestra from the shadows, literally from the shadows, the only shadows that are there because it's daytime. She kind of senses him, but not really. And then they used our little tracker buddy again, who's, I don't know, he just flip flops as to helping or not helping the Jedi. I don't get it. Anyway, so they're using him to track down the twins. The twins arrive at the tree because May is like, this is how I escaped the first time, and I came to the tree, and I waited. And we don't really know who she waited for, by the way. But they kind of make up. The stranger shows up, and he's like, all right, we gotta go. Osha's like, I'll go with you if you leave my sister alone. And May's like, yeah, I don't really want to go, but the Jedi are gonna capture me. And they're like, oh yeah, that's gonna happen because they're almost here. So Kamir, the stranger, offers the solution very conveniently. It's like, hey, I can erase her memories. I can erase her memories of me and of you, Osha. So May's gonna get captured, but she's not gonna remember anything. And Osha's like, all right, I guess that's gotta happen. I'm a little bit sad, but not really. So they embrace. The stranger does his thing, which is basically just waving his hand. And May's like, oh yeah, I don't I kind of do remember you, but not really. And they leave. Then the Jedi arrest her, take her back, into Coruscant for questioning. Vernestra kind of talks to her about, what actually happened. Do you remember having a sister, all of that? And she's like, not too much. Like, I just kind of remembered, what happened, that I started a fire and stuff like that. They tell me I killed somebody, but I don't even know. And she's like, yeah, your memories are from when you were like, I think she says like 8 years old or something like that. So basically, um, back to the event 60 years ago. And she's like, yeah, I remember just somebody killed my mother. And he's like, and Bernice's like, oh yeah, we're sorry about that. One of ours, right, killed her. And he was great. He was awesome, but he did very bad things apparently too. So she actually meets with her reviewers from the Senate and basically starts telling them the same thing, that one of their own, Master Soul, made a mistake 16 years ago, and all of the casualties recently were to cover that up. So she's like, it's been dealt with, and he's dead now, so we're good, right? And so the senators are like, yeah, this is kind of weird. Like, why didn't you tell us about it? And she's like, well, he was a friend. I didn't think this was gonna happen. I didn't want to believe it was him. All of that. Then there's this scene, by the way. She leans in and says, "I'm sorry, my friend." And then we see this scene, seemingly to imply that Vernestra burned Soul's body. Why isn't there a close up, by the way? Just throwing the question out there. And so yeah, basically she's trying to explain to May, we're not all bad. It was just him, blah blah. Blah. And if you let us, we're gonna help you, um, you get better. So somehow they're flip flop now. So May is with the Jedi, Osha is with the stranger. They're cool now, I guess. They're buddies. And then um, Master Vernestra is like, all right, gotta talk to you. And what do we get? We get our favorite green little guy. And that's it. That is the last episode of this season of The Acolyte. So, what do we think about it? I'm gonna go kind of fast here, and okay, so I am not convinced that Soul is unalived. All right, I'm not convinced that he's gone, as she says, right? Because she even said it's like, oh yeah, he offed himself. Um, I don't know. I'm not buying it. One, because he's probably my favorite character of the show, and two, because it doesn't really make that much sense to get rid of him right now. It makes sense for them to show us this, that he was kind of like the scapegoat, right? That totally matches with Vernestra. She's been trying to cover up all this stuff, and and of course, the only one is Soul, right? It's the obvious choice. I'm more inclined to say that she made him abandon the order, and like she was probably saying, "I'm sorry, old friend, because you're gonna have to go into hiding. You can never show your face again." All of that stuff. I didn't really buy the flip flopping of the sisters. I had a problem with May dropping everything as soon as she learns that Osha is alive in one of the earlier episodes. I she's been training with this master, right, with this stranger for years now, for the better part of 16 years. I don't know if the full 16 years since she escaped, but for the better part of those 16 years. And all of a sudden, as soon as she learns that her sister is alive, she's like, all right, I'm good. I'm just going to quit here and I'm going to turn you into the Jedi. I didn't get that. But then Osha kind of does the same thing. We got a hint of it in the previous episode when she, grabs the stranger's lightsaber and puts it to his throat. But I'm like, where is this coming from? All of a sudden, Osha just has like, the biggest rage inside of her like ever, and she bleeds a kyber crystal in seconds. I don't have a problem with her bleeding a kyber crystal. Just I thought it was just a little bit too fast. All right, even Darth Vader took a while and a lot of effort, in the comic books. So I don't know about that timing. Um, the Let me see if I can get it here. The absolute best scene is again what we are calling Plagueis, right? And I say what we're calling Plagueis because remember, guys, that book is not canon anymore. All right, if it ever was. So the Dark Plagueis book is not canon. So does he look like the one in the book? Yeah, absolutely. Does it make sense for him to be here, in this time period? I think so. We can work with that. But what I'm trying to say is there is no guarantees. All right. There's no guarantees the story is going to go the same as it did in the book. There's no guarantees we're going to see him training Palpatine or creating life or any of that stuff. All right. So just curve your expectations because people are running wild already. They're saying he would be like 17 years old by this point or something like that. I'm like, no, we don't know that anymore. We just don't. Okay. Um, we don't know how long he's lived, if he has already managed to extend his life with the dark side, if that's even Plagueis. We don't even know if that's Plagueis, right? What if it's the janitor that cleans the cave after the stranger leaves? All I'm saying is we really don't know. Right, everybody's jumping to the conclusion that that's Darth Plagueis. I think so too. I agree. But again, that doesn't mean that we know everything about Plagueis, or that we know anything, I should say, about Plagueis anymore. And then the last thing I wanted to talk about was kind of like that last shot with Yoda, right? Um, I don't know. I Yes, it's cool, of course. More Yoda is always good. Um, I just kind of wish they would have sort of explained why he wasn't going to be in the show early on. And I don't mean like give us a whole briefing on it. No, just remember when they're reviewing the holo recordings of May killing Jedi, right, or fighting, and they're like, oh, we should take this to the High Council, and Vanessa's like, no, we can't talk to the High Council yet. I kind of wish they would have said, Master Yoda is off on his very important trip or off on a mission, right? He can't be bothered. That's it. That's kind of all I need, right? But nowhere, nobody even says the word Yoda, by the way, in this whole show. And then at the end, we get him. Again, it's cool and all, but if a second season happens, now people, myself included, are gonna be expecting to be a lot more tied into the story that we already know. They're gonna want to see Yoda. They're gonna want to see Plagueis. They're gonna want to see Palpatine probably, and that's where I think the show is gonna start, getting into more trouble, right? Because this first season we didn't really know anybody. I mean, maybe Bernestra a little bit, um, and that gave them quote unquote freedom, right? But now, if you're introducing Yoda, if you're introducing Plagueis into the mix, it's a whole other game, right? So if you thought fans were not happy with the way you talked, you took the direction of the story, trust me, when you start messing with big names like Yoda and Plagueis, they are gonna burn this down. No, I'm just kidding. But they are not gonna be happy with your creative choices. I don't care what they are, unless you adapt, the book of Plagueis. Yeah, they're just not gonna be happy about it. So that's kind of it, But you let me know what do you think. Let me know how you thought this episode was it successful in wrapping up the show. Now that you saw all 8 episodes, did you think better of the show? Do you think it was a good show, still pretty bad, or you know what, I was kind of middle of the road? Fights were cool, but that's about it. Again, let me know down in the comments. I'm interested to see your opinions. But let me back let me jump back here into the chat. I've been talking way too much, so let's see. Let's jump back here. All right. So, okay. So Juan is saying 9 because of Dark Plagueis, the Wise, and the battles. The battles were pretty fun. Like I said, that lightsaber choreography, I gotta hand it to them. It was fun. I think all of the fights were pretty fun. Definitely a lot of kung fu in it. Hey, we got Rolando, our multiverse moderator, saying what's up, saying hi to everybody. Rolando says flex. OBP says, hey, Rolando. OBP says, Community Stranger is my favorite character of the show. You know what? He did a good job. I gotta hand it to him. The character was good. He was kind of chill. He wasn't the typical like Sith, like full of rage all the time, and like, oh, I'm the dark side and all that. Like he was very calm. He was kind of charming, honestly. Up to a point. Everybody was kung fu fighting. Yeah, absolutely, man. And like I said, there's some. I'm surprised we didn't see more flying like that, throughout the show. We got Edson Martinez saying, hello, what's going on, brother? Thank you for joining the stream. Rolando saying hi to Edson. OVP says, I have issues with Osha bleeding the crystal and the way she kills Soul. Never fully trained and she's able to force choke. Yeah. I mean, force choke is, I don't know, you could chalk it up to her rage. Like I said, I don't have a problem with her bleeding the crystal. That's okay. But not that fast. I don't know. I kind of bumped into that. Like it was just like spur of the moment, and all of a sudden I bleed the crystal. I think I would have been, I think I would have been better with it if we would have seen that like sort of like the crystal start to become corrupt, right? Like start to bleed, but not really. And then later on, towards like the end of the episode, when we see the stranger and her like back in the planet, and how they're holding lightsaber hands, right? And she would have like ignited the saber and then it was red. I'd be like, okay, you know what, some time has passed and she managed to bleed the saber, right? Because she's been training. That would have been my head canon, right? It's a few weeks later or a few months later. She's been receiving dark side training, and part of that training was, complete the bleeding of the crystal. I actually would have been okay with that. Like I said, just sort of rearrange the moments, but visually, yes, it was cool to see a kyber crystal being bled. Um, the kyber was sticking out of the handle though, and she turns that thing on, and it still works just fine. Like that blade is still perfect. I don't buy that one too much, but visually, yeah, it looked cool. Um, so them to each being half the same person, when one goes dark, it forces the other half to go light. The scale must balance. It's funny you say that because I was thinking about that too. Um, like I said, they kind of just flip flop positions in the Force, right? One went to the Jedi, one went to the Sith, or again, quote unquote Sith. So I thought about that too. I was like, all right, well, are they destined to always be on opposite sides? And maybe that's the way it's meant to be, so that there can be balance up to a point. But again, I didn't really buy too much. Like they just flip flop too easy, for my taste. We got Rex from Millennium Workshop saying, "Good evening, everyone. What's going on, man?" Hi, Rex says, "OBP, what's up, OB? How are you?" Says Rex, "Doing good. How are you doing?" Rex says, "Theory alert: the twins needed to be separated because she would have been unstable in the Force. Next season, they try to merge them back together, and they do it, and she is so unstable it destroys her." Yeah, I mean, I would be okay with that. I kind of wish we would have heard a little bit more about, you know, how was it, like what's the problem here? The problem was that Mother Anastasia totally created them from out of thin air using the Force, or was there already a what would we say, an embryo? Was there already a pregnancy that she manipulated, right, into creating two beings? I don't know. And is that why Dark Plagueis is showing up? Because he's like, hey, can I cheat off your homework here? It would be interesting to know for sure. OBP says Tony had a good idea of the crystal bleeding. Osha starts it by being Superman, then she ignites the saber. As she stabs it through soul, the blade goes from blue to red. Yeah, visually that would have been awesome. Gotta go, brother. Appreciate you joining, man. Thanks so much. The other thing that I was gonna say is I would have loved for that last scene between the sisters, which again it didn't make sense to me. They're like, yeah, we're just gonna erase her mind. When they're hugging, when they're embracing, I was like, whoa, if Osha grabs the lightsaber and like stabs May, I was like, that would be metal. They don't do it, but for like 2 seconds, I thought they were gonna do it. And I was like, dude, that would be awesome. That would be like Osha is like, that's it. I've gone dark side 100%. My sister couldn't cut it. She's a liability now because she can tell the Jedi everything about us. I got to do this. I thought she was dead anyway for years and years. So this has to happen. And that to me would have been so freaking cool. But yeah, so there it is. The show is done for now, right? Again, we don't know if we're going to get a second season. I still think we probably will. Um, there's still a lot to tell, obviously. But again, I worry about the connective tissue to the Skywalker saga, right? Um, Once again, you're bringing in Darth Plagueis, whom best we know is Palpatine's teacher, right? Palpatine's master, and Yoda, right? Like we said, so it's gonna be hard if they are doing a second season. It has to be a lot darker. One of the things that were promised by this show was to take things from the dark side perspective, and I don't think they achieved that. I didn't really see that, to be honest with you. It was all about the Jedi being, or at least starting to be corrupt, being very bad at, spur of the moment choices, and dealing with guilt, I guess, which we've kind of already seen. I didn't really get a dark side, perspective vibe from the show. I don't know if you guys did. I didn't really get that. So if there's a second season, that has to happen. They have to go full on dark side. They gotta show us, Moro Band or Korriban. They gotta show us, like a Sith holocron. Maybe flashbacks to Revan, to Darth Bane. Show us Kamir being recruited by the Sith. Show us Plagueis training somebody. It doesn't have to be Palpatine. It can be somebody else. Yeah, they gotta show us a little bit more of, actually, a lot more of what it really means to be like an acolyte, right? A Sith acolyte. Because I don't think we got that at all, almost, in this show. I think the closest we got was when Kamir is explaining stuff to her in the cave. Oh, there's an untapped well of emotions, and that's power. I use kurtosis. This is good against lightsabers. I use this headpiece because it actually cuts me off from my senses, so I managed to tap into the force a lot stronger. Connection for combat. That's about all I can say that was related to like the dark side perspective, right? Which I hope to see a lot more in this show. And again, me personally, I don't think it got there. And so if there's a season 2, they gotta go full on like dark side for sure. Luis, what's going on? I appreciate you joining the stream. Thanks so much. Viper Spirit saying hello, everyone. What's up, man? Thank you. Hey, what's up, Brett? How's it going, man? Appreciate you joining the stream. OBP says, I really want Darth Bane series showing the start of the rule too. Dude, that would be so cool. And that, again, sort of a missed opportunity. There's a lot of missed opportunities, okay, in this show. A lot. But if they would have shown, a little bit of the philosophy of the Sith, right? Even just by mentioning, it's like, yeah, there can be only two because 1,000 years ago, we messed up. We messed up bad. And we all got too greedy and we almost became extinct, right? And one of us, named Darth Bane, came up with the rule of two. And so far, it's worked pretty good. We've managed to stay hidden from the Jedi for 1,000 years, right? I don't know, maybe something like that. I would have been like, all right, that's cool. Somebody actually saying it, right? Agree, says OBP. Antonio says, not sure if my comment got deleted, but I had to fast forward a bit not to spoil the episode. Gotcha. Appreciate you, brother, though. Thank you for joining. And yeah, go watch the show. Go watch the episode for sure, because I want you to form your own opinion. And I want you to come back here if you haven't seen it right now. I want you to come back here and score. Don't score the episode, score the show, okay? Score the show on all 8 episodes, all right? Give me a score from 1 to 10 for the show, for the season, all 8 episodes put together. Take into account everything, right? The fights, the acting, the story. Try to leave a little bit of your expectations out. I will say that I did not like how week after week after week, the writers, the showrunner, the actors, everybody was chiming in as to why they did what they did in that episode for that week. It's like they were defending too much the show. All right. They were defending too much each choice that the fans were questioning. Like when Kelnaka was dispatched off screen and they're like, oh, yeah, we really did think about having a fight, but it was too expensive. We just didn't have the budget. Do you really think that's helping, defend your case when you tell me you got the biggest budget for anything Star Wars Live show of all of them? And you tell me, no, yeah, we couldn't afford the big hairy guy with a lightsaber for, 2 minutes. Come on, guys. Like that's not helping. When they're saying, oh, yeah, no, we took every single script to Dave Filoni, so blame him. He said yes to all of this. I'm like, again, you're not really helping. And I don't know why they try to do that week after week. I think me personally would have been like, all right, let the show play out. Let all 8 episodes come out. Once, the show is out, okay, now maybe give your thoughts, right? Maybe be like, hey, guys, we know you didn't like Kilnaka to be off screen, but it was, a creative choice because we rather you guys see him later, like at his peak, he taking down 2 Jedi. I don't know, something like that. But I really disliked the way they handled it, when the show was going on. I don't understand why they did it. They were literally just feeding the flames more. I try to stay away from it, but of course it always pops up on my feed, quotes from everybody saying, well, we did this because of this. And I just kind of I was kind of done with it after like the third episode. All right, so we got the Legacy of Nerd in the house saying, "Yo, what's going on, man? Appreciate it." By the way, I heard somebody's got a new website, so if you want to throw the link here in the chat, I think you should. Brett saying 5 out of 10 on the season. All right, all right. 6.9 says Rex. Ooh, that's pretty specific. OBP says score for the show 5/6 out of 10. Love the action scenes, but the story was lacking overall and too many issues. I'm kind of around there actually. I'm kind of with you on that one. Brett saying Rex just wanted a 6 and a 9 up there. Absolutely. Pop Photography, what's going on, man? Says, hello there, General. I do hope we get deeper into the Sith lore if we get another season. I enjoyed the lightsaber fight in between Kimir and Sol. Agreed. I think that's the one part like nobody has really been complaining about too much anyway. Is the lightsaber sequences. They're pretty good. And they did release again while the show was still going on, that the same choreography team that put together the fights in the Acolyte are the ones who put together the hallway scene with Vader and Rogue One. But again, that kind of just sounds like we're defending the show, right? I don't know. Thanks, man, says the Legacy of Nerd. Hey, go check it out. It's something like thelegacyofnerd.com. I'm just saying, kind of sounds like it. Rex from Millennium Worship saying, haha, Brett. Yep, knows you too well. Hiya, Legacy, says OBP. So, yeah, there we have it. Another show wrapped up. Man, this was one for the books. And not about the show, but about the reactions. All right. There's a lot of hate flowing, through the fandom on this one. I don't think that there's been anything so divisive and sort of like, evoking such reactions since the Disney era, honestly. Not even The Last Jedi I felt was this bad. Because The Last Jedi, people were actually excited to see it before they saw it. This one, as soon as we heard, anything about the show, people were hating on it. As soon as we saw that trailer, people were really, really hating on it. So, yeah, we'll see how this affects future projects. We got what is our next one? Skeleton Crew, I guess, maybe. Live action. We got Andor season 2. We got Ahsoka season 2 at some point. We got the Mando and Grogu movie. But I think the one that's going to be heard the most is going to be the Dawn of the Jedi movie, because that one is going to have to sort of establish all the rules that we know. And if they get something wrong, and I don't mean like wrong, I mean like just different from what we think, there's going to be a lot of fallout again. So best of luck to them in trying to make this project work. Yeah, I don't know, guys. I think it was a hurtful time for Star Wars. We'll see what the ramifications and some of the consequences with the upcoming shows and projects. We'll see if we get a season 2 of The Acolyte. We'll see if we do get a season 2, if any of the showrunners or the actors or the writers are gonna come back. A lot of unknowns at this point, but yeah, that's it. We wrapped up The Acolyte. All right, 8 episodes. Love it, hate it, kind of in the middle. Let me know. So let me catch up here with the chat, and then I think we're gonna call it a night. Legacy Honor says, "Hey, Relics." Pop Photography says, "I enjoyed the wire work. Very Crush and Tigerish." Exactly. That's exactly what I mentioned during that scene. Pop the Money Collector saying, "Yer, what's going on, brother? Appreciate you joining the stream, man." Says, "Good evening, everyone." OVP says, "Hey, Pops and Pop Photography." OVP says, "No more new Star Wars this year." Skeleton Crew with our brother Tony coming in clutch. What's going on, brother? Appreciate you joining, man. Lego What If Movie 2. Yeah, with Darth Jar Jar and the Dark Falcon, which is cool. So yeah, we still got obviously more Star Wars to come. Again, we'll see how the projects that were already in the pipeline get affected, um, if any, and then I'm sure we're gonna hear about a season two sooner rather than later. But again, I'm curious to see if they're gonna try to correct or change direction, or they're gonna just double down and be like, nope, we're bringing the exact same people back, and you're gonna have to love it. Only time will tell. So thank you so much for joining me here on another episode of The High Ground. I hope that you guys have an amazing weekend coming up. And also, please go ahead and check us out over on Facebook, General Kenobi's Bunker, over on Instagram at general.kenobis.bunker, TikTok, general_Kenobis_bunker, and of course on our second channel here on YouTube, El Bunker del General Kenobi. So thanks again for everybody for joining. I appreciate it. Didn't really give guys much of a heads up on this episode, but like I said, I missed you guys. It's been a rough couple weeks. Kind of tired, a lot going on. Nothing bad, just the usual overload. But I'm here. I love that you guys joined the stream. I really appreciate each and every single one of you. So thank you, Bunker Bunch, for joining me here again. Hope that you have an awesome weekend coming up. Go watch The Acolyte. All right. And again, come back here and give me an overall score for the whole show, not just the episode, but just for the show so far, right? For this season. Definitely agree, says Antonio. OBP says, I love to see an animated show. Oh, dude, for sure. I'll definitely get back to you and rate the show entirely. Appreciate you guys. So once again, thank you so much for joining me here. Have a good night. Have a good rest of the day. Have a good Friday. Yeah, it's the weekend. Let's enjoy it. All right. Get out there. Stay cool. Stay hydrated, guys. Seriously, it's kind of warm out there. All right. And yeah, stay safe. Love you guys. Peace out.